popular
But like
request, I
maybe
decided to watch Jumper.
off the rip, just tough, bro.
Alright, so by popular request, I decided to watch Jumper. I enjoyed it, so I'm making a video on it. The movie starts with our main character David standing on top of the
Name David.
Sphinx in Egypt. He tells us all the extravagant things he's done today, like having coffee in Paris, surfing
David
the
acting.
Maldives, and making it to the second quarter of the NBA Finals all before lunch. That's pretty wild, but how's that possible? We flash back to a young David in school. He's creeping on this girl named Millie. Remember Millie because she plays a big role in this film. He gives her a beat up snow globe of the Eiffel Tower, which she definitely thinks is ass.
I love it.
Oh, never mind. Doesn't really matter
I'm on
though, because
water.
this guy, the classic high school bully, comes up, takes the snow
Thirsty.
globe, and launches it onto the ice. But David's not going to let a minor inconvenience prevent him from laying wood, so he walks all the way out to the snow globe to retrieve it. After he picks it up, the ice breaks and he falls in. Yeah, he's dead, man. But before he can drown, he magically teleports into a library. After this,
Dude, I'm always thinking about like, bro. It's like it's not like an original thought from me, but I like a little few years ago, maybe a couple years ago, probably there was a tweet or something that said like, imagine if we all have superpowers, right? But it has to be something really, really weird and unique for them to activate. Like how he just almost drowned in the lake, but his power saved him, like like an instant adaptation, right? But what if, imagine, like, for example, right? What if one of us, me for example, because I'm the most, like, reasonable case to be Superman, right? What if for me to become Superman, I have to, like, bite the upper right corner of my neighbor's TV? But, like, I'm never going to do that, so I'm never going to become Superman, right? Imagine it's something like that, right? Because it's just something that you're just never going to do, but it's there, but you just have to do some random thing.
he walks all the way home, and while walking, he tells us a little about his home life. His mom left when he was 5 years old, and his dad is not much of a dad.
It's the guy from Walking. But I've seen this movie maybe 3 times, but in like 10 years ago. But it's just like he's the guy that called the bald guy in Walking Dead the hard R. I don't hate him, and I love Yondu, bro. I'm saying I love Yondu. It's kind of weird to see him young.
He gets home, and his dad's like, "Where the were you? What were you doing?" But David runs off to his room and
And why does he always play like the worst person ever, bro? I've never seen bro. I mean, okay, Yondu is a good person, I guess, but I've never seen bro play a good character. I mean, like he's played like he's acted good. But I'm saying he's never played like a good moral character.
locks the door. Then, as his dad breaks in, he teleports out.
I do remember that scene though, which is weird. I don't remember. I mean, I guess I do like faintly remember him. I do faintly remember him being in the movie. Now I'm thinking about it, but it's just like I never actually put the pieces together.
Out of there and ends up back at the library yet again. And this time, he realizes, oh shit.
Not gonna lie, I would probably teleport to maybe like my local Wingstop or maybe like my bathroom. Honestly, like because he's teleported to the library. I think it's because he's like familiar with it or like that's just like safe space or something like that. But it's like me personally, if I'm in a situation and my body has to teleport me somewhere that I'm like cool with, it'll probably be Wingstop
I've got powers. He teleports back.
or Winter Schnitzel. Probably Winter Schnitzel, bro. But then again, it's like the one that I go to is not necessarily like it's like there's like an inside to it, but the inside is literally just the kitchen. So it's just like a big shack in the drive-thru for Winter Schnitzel.
Back home and decides he can use these new powers to change his life. So he quickly packs his stuff up to dip out. But before going ghost, he drops a snow globe off at Millie's house to let her know
What kind of snow globe doesn't have a bottom on it? Just a ball, like it's a fushigi bowl with water in it, bro. But why is no base on it?
he's still alive. He then leaves town, gets an apartment, and practices his teleportation, also known as jumping in this film, in the middle of the day at a public park.
That is bad strats for safety, but it's just like I would do the same thing.
He's really keeping it low key. At his apartment, he looks through a travel book and tries to jump to places, but it doesn't work. But he finds a place he's been to before when he was a little kid with his mom. His room then starts shaking around, and then boom, he jumps to it. So, if you're not following, he can't just jump willy-nilly anywhere he wants. He can only teleport to places he can see or has a clear mental image of.
See, that's like it's obviously like a very common limitation for teleporting powers, but it's still valid. Like it makes the most sense. It's the most reasonable. Because I mean, okay, yeah, you can make a really strong teleporter that could teleport to a different dimension, without. But then it's like the kind of like ruin not it doesn't ruin the immersion, but it also doesn't really make sense. I guess you can say, well, it doesn't make sense anyways. But it's just like, yeah, if you want to make a realistically cool power, having limitations where like they can only go where they've seen or they've been, is way better than just being able to teleport willy-nilly, bro.
So the more familiar he is with the place, the easier he can jump to it. Knowing this, he decides to rob a bank because why not? He goes into the bank and asks to use the restroom, and it's conveniently downstairs so he can see the inside of the vault to get a mental image of it. Then, later that night, he packs up his gear. He closes his eyes
Bro, bringing a hammer. You can teleport. Why do you need a hammer? What are you, Thor? You're not Thor. Why do you need a hammer to teleport, bro? Just your like, if you're gonna go as far as to bring weapon to defend yourself in a bank security vault thing, you already messed up because you weren't supposed to be able to be seen. You're teleporting in there, teleporting out. How hard is it?
and tries to think about the vault and accidentally jumps to the bathroom instead. He tries again and actually gets it right this time and jumps to the inside of the vault. He begins robbing it and he quickly realizes his little ass bag is
Not to be a nitpicker. I mean, actually, I really don't care. I'm going to be a nitpicker. I nitpick everything, right? If he, let's say he does, let's say, okay, he gets to teleporting, right? Obviously, he did. I don't think those little vaults will be open, be unlocked. Because, like, yeah, they already have a big security safe door. It's like nuke proof. But there's like, they're not going to just have open things in there. You know what I'm saying? They got to have preventative measures on top of measures. Like, contingency plan times 10,000. Because you just like money, bro. You can't just have money being able to be, even, again, you can't get to the door easily in the first place. But let's say someone does, they're gonna have the like second measure of having every single little safe locked.
isn't going to be enough, so he has to
I know this because I own several banks.
make a few trips to the vault and back to really clean that puppy out. The
Real nigga.
next day, a man named Roland rolls
What is that haircut, Bowie? Good lord, Bowie.
up to the bank and asks for all the tapes and names of everyone who has a safety deposit box in the vault. He's told all that shit's
Bro, the least obvious wig I've ever seen. You see the Flash, the lightning bolt hairline, bro. Good lord.
confidential, but Samuel L. Jackson isn't here to around. We then cut to David as an adult. He's got a nice spot in New York and he's got a bunch of pictures on his wall of places he's been to, so
That's real strats, though. See, an overthinker, this is obviously not just overthinking, this is just experience and knowledge. But as someone that's like that overthinks a lot of things, right? I would have already had this laid out my first time knowing the rules of my or limitations of my jumping ability, my teleporting ability, right? I would have already had 50 different pictures. I mean, I don't really know his, you know what I'm saying? He probably did have them already. I think he did already have some laid out once he found out or whatever, but it's just like, we're great minds think alike.
we can jump to them easier. And this scene right here really makes you want teleportation. He's just jumping around his house, making life easier. He can't reach the remote, so he jumps a little bit closer to grab it. And just being able to teleport almost anywhere in the world whenever you want is just awesome. I don't know about you, but I'm doing the same shit David does. I'm hitting a lick to get rich, traveling the world, and pulling redheads left and right.
I love those redheads, man.
But that's just me. Later that day, David hits up a bar and he teleports to this chick at the bar in front of everyone, not caring who sees. But he's noticed by this guy. Remember him?
I do respect the bravado, you know, the cojones to teleport in front of everybody. Because, like, realistically, nobody can touch him. But unless I know I'm impervious to bullets, unless I know I'm impervious, like I'm you know, invincible, right? Play the theme. I'm not gonna teleport to cause problems. I'm already like non-confrontational. That's probably just me, right? But I'm not gonna teleport in front of people or into people, not knowing that knowing that I'm not invincible. I know I can beat them in the fist fight 'cause I can teleport. I know that I can avoid most scenarios, but as you'll see in the movie, in the video, right? He gets caught. But a spoiler alert, buddy, it's been 30 years since the movie came out, right? But it's just like you're not unable to be caught or harmed. So I know you can be cocky and arrogant because you're like the only person that you know that can teleport. But I'm not gonna just do it willy nilly just because I know I can get out. I know I might still get switched down, Swiss cheesed.
For later. David leaves with the girl, slams some ham, and then jumps to a beach to catch some waves. But there's no waves. He's told there's a storm that just hit Fiji, so he jumps to Fiji instead. He tries to ride the wave, but he's no Chicken Joe and he falls over. We also get a shot of him enjoying his lunch on the top of the Sphinx in Egypt.
See, it looks like a vibe, but it's not. I mean, I guess, okay, for like a 15-minute meal, sure. But like, why? There's nothing up there. You know what I'm saying? It's hot, dry. You're in the sun. No TV, no YouTube. You're just eating a sandwich in the middle of the desert, bro.
Must be nice. We then cut to some random jungle and see some commotion going on. We see Roland, the guy from earlier, and he's got another jumper similar to David caught in a trap. He can't jump away because the electricity from the wires prevents him from jumping. The jumper's like, "What's your deal, man? Why me?" Roland takes out some sort of ceremonial dagger and tells the jumper that only God should have the power of teleportation.
What? Teleport? Why would God teleport?
And he kills him.
Only God should have the power to be all places.
I'm not gonna lie,
But they aren't even all places at once. They are multiple places at different times. Bro, they're at one place at one time, multiple times. Like, Black Anthony don't know shit, bro.
this is one thing I didn't really like about this film. These guys, the Paladins, hunt down these jumpers and kill them basically just because they're peanut butter and jealous of their power.
He's motherfucking peanut butter and jealous. These hate us because they ain't us.
And act like what they're doing is good and necessary because only God should have this power. Doesn't really make much sense to me, and I don't really like it, but whatever. David gets back to his apartment after a very adventurous night and finds none other than Roland snooping around.
Wow. First of all, good chill. Why am I getting a haircut, bro? Look at this shit, boy. What? God. Damn, boy. Goddamn stents on your shit, boy.
His place.
Wait a
David's like, "Dude,
boy.
get out." But Roland tells him he knows who he is and he knows about his powers. David's like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and asks him to leave, but while he's at the door, Roland busts this thing out and tases
Damn, boy, you can take that. Stop.
him
Bro,
mid-jump.
One full screen.
A while since you used a door, huh?
This conversation's over.
Okay, like, that's not getting to semantics. Or that's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying? If I teleport past your insert, you know what I'm saying? That didn't touch me, so how am I getting electrocuted? Is it like the magnetic field or whatever? You know what I'm saying?
David's able to jump up to his pictures and tries to dial in and jump to a place, but can't because the electricity from being zapped is still messing with him. It's still lingering. Roland zaps him again and tells him to cough up who he's working with before throwing him off the
Who
balcony.
am I working with? Myself. I'm stealing money. Who would I co-op dual mission this with? You know what I'm saying, if the person that I would be working with, unless they're like, a hacker person that knows computers and knows certain, that's smart, right? Why would I need to work with anybody? Even like my day ones, my mans, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I work with him if it's like I'm not gonna put him in harm's way if I can do it myself? Like, if I'm teleporting on my own power and ability, I'm not working with anybody.
David tries to run but gets caught.
Unless I'm getting paid to work for somebody, but I think even then, like, why would I work for anybody if I could just teleport and steal money?
Zapped yet again, and this time the wire has him wrapped up. He jumps into one of his rooms and is able to cut the wire. He grabs as much cash as he can while Roland tries to break in, and before he gets zapped again, he jumps out of there and back to his room in his old house. David's dad notices the whole house shaking like an earthquake just hit, so he runs upstairs and pleads for David to not leave.
Don't go. Don't go. Just hear me out. I don't know if I'm going crazy here or not.
David just says, "You're not crazy," and right before his dad can break the chain and break in, he teleports out of there. Back at David's place, Roland is searching the place and
If my son can teleport like that, how is he not how, but like, you're keeping, I mean, honestly, W Dad for keeping your teleporting son powers a secret, but it's just like, we're not gonna go over how we just had a teleporting son casually.
finds an old picture of Millie. Yep, she
What was this?
teleports out of there. Back at David's place, Roland is searching the place and finds an old
Bro, come on, man. Come on, man.
picture of Millie. Yep, she's cooked. David goes back to his hometown and finds Millie's mom. He asks her where Millie is, and he's told that she works
Is
at
that
a bar
Anakin Skywalker?
in town. He heads to the bar, sits in a booth, drinks a beer, stares at her for a while like a little weirdo, and then tries to leave. Nice. But on his way out, he bumps into Mark. Remember, the D-bag who threw the snow globe at the beginning of the film? Yeah, this is him.
You peaked in high school, motherfucker.
Mark is like, "Dude, David, is that you?" And David's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. Go away." But as he's telling Mark this, Millie comes up from behind and blows his cover. David's like, "Oh my god, Millie, hi, I didn't know you were here." And Millie says, "Dude, I saw you at the booth staring at me like a weirdo for 45 minutes.
That's bad ball knowledge. It's not bad ball knowledge, but that's bad execution. That's bad strats. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he probably didn't think she was seeing him, but it's like 40 minutes. Boy.
Awkward." Mark starts acting, well, like a drunk, and eventually slaps Millie's caboose, which leads to David
That's even worse ball. That's a terrible ball.
hitting him with a nice juicer to the lips. And a fight breaks out. David low-key gets stomped out, but while Mark is celebrating, David blast doubles him through a fence and jumps him into the bank vault that he robbed all those years ago. He gets in his face, talks a little heat, and then jumps back to find Millie and tells her that he handled business. At the bar, Millie asks David what he does,
I'm teleporting him into space.
and David tells her he's in banking. And Millie's like, that's weird. Didn't you flunk out of algebra?
Like, let's not attack the people that don't like algebra or math, right? Let's be civil here.
Algebra?
Suspicious. He then somehow, in like 5 minutes, convinces her to go to Rome with him. This guy's gone.
Where's his iced out bust down? You know what I'm saying, where's his chain? I mean, honestly, he might be in the Steve Jobs method, the Jeff Bezos method, where you look broke to stay rich. But like, if you can steal, like realistically, I'm not even gonna buy the jewelry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna buy the clothes. Like, I'm teleporting into them and then teleporting away back home. You can't really. It's not stealing. I mean, it is stealing, but it's like they don't know how to explain what just happened to them.
On for like 10 years, comes back for a day, and this chick decides to go with him to Rome. Makes sense.
Yeah.
They fly to Rome like normal people, and I know that was absolutely brutal for this dude because he can't even grab the remote slightly out of reach, so this flight was probably absolutely torture. They land to get a taxi to their hotel, and the bag guy, the guy who takes the bags, comes to take the bags, and David damn near fights him for his bag because he has all his money and belongings in it, and Millie just doesn't even notice it, I guess.
You don't notice? Like, I mean, you know what, bro? Come
You're gonna
on.
notice David does a lot of suspicious things because he's lying to Millie about what he does, and Millie just kind of brushes it off. She doesn't seem to pick up on the obvious red flags that David is lying. Remember, boys and girls, this is how you get taken, and unless your father is Liam Neeson, you're probably cooked. So look for the signs and take the hints. Don't be like Millie. Alright, we jump to Roland, and he's talking to this detective. The detective starts to catch on to Roland, so Roland knocks him out with one punch and breaks into the interrogation.
Ooh, this hairline. First of all, one punch. This is not Saitama, bro. This is Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Old Blade. You know what I'm saying? I know he didn't play Blade, but god damn, boy. He did not knock this nigga out, bro. One punch. Stop doing that.
Room to interrogate Mark. I don't know how long they talked, but that detective would have
Hair
woken
look like a damn carpet, bro. God damn, boy.
up within like 5 seconds. Even if you get absolutely blasted and get sent to the Shadow Realm, you're usually back to the real world within like 5 to 10 seconds. And this guy was out for like 10 minutes, but whatever. Back in Rome, David and Millie visit the Roman Colosseum, and up on a rooftop, we see he's being followed by the guy who was at the bar earlier,
This is not Assassin's Creed, bro. Get your ass down from the roof, bro. Come on.
and he looks absolutely disgusted by David's actions.
Bro, I understand that certain actors like certain roles, but why do some actors play the exact same role in every movie? Well, not in every movie, but like in most shows. Like, this guy was in that show called The 100, I think, and was he even a bad guy in 100? He might have been, but I'm pretty sure he was. Like, in The 100, he was a bad guy. Like, not just a bad guy, an annoying bad guy. Worse than being a bad guy, you're an annoying bad guy that nobody likes, bro.
The Roman Colosseum is closed off, so David jumps to the other side and unlocks the gate behind Millie's back so they can visit the inside. Another red flag, but she goes along with it. They check the place out, but want to go to the bottom area, but they can't because it's also closed off. But lo and behold, our boy David magically gets to the other side and opens up the door for them. Millie even asks, is that door just conveniently open too?
It's open now.
Strange. But Millie
Like,
goes,
bro, okay, even as a grown man, right? If one of my friends, if he can teleport, right, and we're going on like a guide trip to like Rome, and he's opening doors that should not be open, should not be unlocked in the first place, and I'm just going along, even if it's okay, let's say it's just 3 of us, right, not the whole group, right? If he's opening doors that I know should be locked, I'm concerned, because buddy, you don't have motion like this. How are you opening doors in a country of a language you don't speak? You don't speak Italian, bro. You're not opening doors. You don't have Italian motion, let alone enough motion to be opening doors in Rome. Even like presidents don't get that, bro. You have to be scheduling stuff, bro.
along with it. Again. They get to the bottom and the door is locked, but a locked door isn't going to stop our boy David from getting his winky stinky, so he tells Millie to wait there while he opens it up. He jumps to the bottom, walks over a bit, and finds the guy from earlier draining the main vein in a corner.
Do you mind, man? Just a little privacy, yeah?
Well, that's awkward. David gets to the door, and the random guy whose name is Griffin tells David to not open that door if he wants his girlfriend to live. This sets David off, but Griffin jumps away, revealing that David isn't the only jumper. Griffin's like, you think you can just jump around everywhere and nobody would notice? Well, they did. Just then...
See, that's why I'm saying it's bad tax. It's bad strategy. This is haram ball if this was teleportation. You know what I'm saying? If you know ball, right? This is haram ball. This is not halal ball. This is haram ball. This is bad ball knowledge. This is bad scouting reports. Because like he got cocky with it, right? You can't get cocky with your powers. If you get cocky with your powers, this stuff happens. Like I know it's gonna get tiring to have to hide your identity, not just your identity, but just to hide and have to be able to teleport. But it's like you're having to keep your secret, so you don't have to deal with this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Being really new with it, now you have to deal with this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's really not a hard decision to make.
And some sketchy motherfuckers wearing trench coats come out from the shadows. David
If I see people weren't, yeah, I mean, as you can see, he's gone. But like, I would have been gone the second I seen him with a bat next to me, bro.
jumps up to the balcony, but Griffin's here to handle business. The trench coat fellows bust out their zappy things and
They all got them extendos, dildos.
try to shoot Griffin, but miss. David's not so
So are they co-op mode or are they running duos? What's going on? Why are they? Why is he trying to beat his ass if he's running away too?
lucky though. Another thing I want to point out that bothered me a little bit about this movie is the fact that neither David or Griffin, who's been fighting the Paladins for years, decide to jump away from the fight, grab a gun, jump back, and then just start mowing motherfuckers down. They make it so much harder than it has to be, but whatever. Griffin's able to jump around and avoid the Paladins for a while, but David's not doing too hot. He's really struggling. Griffin's able to jump behind this guy. He grabs him, jumps up to a high point, and then throws him off. After all the heat dies down, Griffin fills David
they're
in.
being too like nice. They're not being too imaginative. Like if teleporting is instant, like they're making it seem, I'm teleporting him to the moon, teleporting myself back to Earth. Is it that crazy to think about that? Like that doesn't even take that much imagination. It just takes maybe I'm just a sick twisty eye, but it's just like, dude, the moon is right there. Put him in space.
On who these guys are, and then he grabs one of the Paladins and jumps away. But David is able to jump with him. I don't know if you noticed this, but each time a jumper jumps, they leave behind what's called a jump scar. And other jumpers are able to use that jump scar to teleport with them.
Actually, I'm gonna unsnooze that. That's kind of a cool little plot addition. I don't know. I like that detail, low-key.
Following them. That's pretty important, so remember that. Anyways, after a little friendly dispute, David jumps back to the Coliseum because he remembers his girlfriend is still there, and they quickly get out of there. Unfortunately for David, security saw him and called in the one time. They come in, arrest David, and take him to jail. David gets questioned, but he holds it down and doesn't spill a word. But the guy who's questioning him gets up and leaves, and a woman walks in and says hi. David kind of starts to flip out, and the woman tells David he doesn't have much time and he needs to get out of there. Turns out, this woman is actually David's.
I know plot, but they're in Italy. I know they're like a popular city in Italy, not just some random countryside Italian town. But how do they just speak English randomly? How does he know Italian? Does she know English? I know they speak English a lot in Europe because, you know, they're smarter in some ways, but like, how is the communication going on here?
Mom. She walks out and David chases her down, but a detective finds him and tries to grab him, but David jumps the guy to the top of the Sphinx in Egypt. That guy's definitely dead. There's zero chance he gets down from there. David finds Millie, tells her everything's okay, and they head to the airport to get back home. But when they get to the airport, David tells Millie he can't go on the plane with her, and he just leaves her to fend for herself. Back at home, Roland finds David's dad. He lies to him and tells him that he's IRS, and I don't know how they operate, but getting a visit at like 12 at night.
Yeah, bro. If the IRS, like, I don't even deal with this kind of stuff in general, but like, if the IRS came to my garage and I'm outside working, if it's not just the IRS, anybody comes up to me in the middle of the night while I'm working outside in the dark, you're getting Swiss cheesed. I don't have a Swiss, but
what's even crazier is the fact that David's
let him in. You let the carpet head ass nigga in your house in the middle of the night. Oh yeah, buddy, you're down low.
Dad William actually believed this. Roland asks William about David, and he asks him when is the last time he saw him.
Boy. It's not even just the hairline, bro. Like, I know it's like a regular old nigga hairline, but nigga, the haircut, bro, glued a fucking teddy bear skin onto his head, boy.
Stalin. William holds it down and says he hasn't seen his son in 8 years, even though we know he teleported to his house not that long ago. He then tells Roland to skedaddle up out of there, and if he hears anything, he'll let him know. But Roland doesn't believe him, and he's like,
God, no, you ain't.
No, I won't.
say what you want about David's dad, but he's a G right here. We cut back to Griffin and David talking about the Paladins. He fills David in a little more on the Paladins and what they want. They just want to kill jumpers. That's pretty much it. He also tells David that the Paladins will pack up anyone and everyone that's close with them. And it finally clicks, and David finally realizes that his girlfriend and his dad are in trouble. He jumps back home, walks into his house, and finds his dad dead on the ground. He jumps him to the nearest hospital and then jumps to Mark's jail cell to talk to him. He's like, dude, what did you tell that white-haired black dude? And Mark tells David that he told him everything.
Did you tell him
about Millie?
Told him everything.
David teleports back to Griffin's place and is greeted by Griffin teleporting in after having dropped a paladin off in the Atlantic Ocean. David tries to steal some of Griffin's intel, but Griffin tells him it's not worth it. He tells David that him and Roland have been going at it for over 10 years, so David shouldn't even waste his time trying. But David's not.
I know he might be like the government guy. I know Samuel Jackson is probably in the government in this movie. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like it. It might just be like he looks like a private, you know, vigilante, whatever it's called, mercenary kind of guy. But if you've been running from him for 10 years and you can't get away from him, bro, with teleportation, I'm not saying you can completely outrun him, you know, but it's just like, how are you still struggling to get away from him, bro? Come on, dude.
Not having that. David tells Griffin they should team up. Maybe they'll have a better chance against Roland if they're a team. But Griffin's a solo dolo kind of guy. He goes outside, stabs his knife into this generator, and jumps away, leaving behind his jump scar. David's a persistent little gnat though, so he grabs the knife and teleports to the jump scar and into a little restaurant. He looks around the restaurant, but Griffin's already got away. Or so I thought. Griffin jumps to a subway station and turns around to find David
This nigga's putting like a motherfucking boy.
still hot on his tail. And he's like, dude, what
Fit check. This is 2010, 2012, 2013, 2009, right? This is a decent fit. Can't hate it too much.
David continues to follow Griffin around and tries to convince him about the team up. Griffin walks over to a car showroom, teleports inside, he grabs the keys, starts the car, and before he hits the glass, he jumps it through the wall. David hops in and they go for a ride.
If I can jump a whole car through a building, there is so much I would be doing, bro, besides just stealing money, bro. I'm stealing at least three Maybach, bro. I mean, okay. That's another issue, right? If you can steal a car by jumping through it, you really, like, okay, for me, right? I could, if I stole a Maybach, yeah, I could park it in front of my house, around my house. But I live, like, there's street access. There's a main street access, right? So even if I stole a Maybach, right, it's still getting affected. Like, I can put it somewhere, but I can't put it anywhere. If I just get some 24-hour security or something like that, right? It's not happening. Let's say these people live in an apartment, right? They're like in, what, New York? If they steal a Lambo, where are they putting a Lambo in their studio apartment, bro? Apartment complex.
Driving, Griffin tells David that he knew a jumper once that actually tried to jump a whole building, and he died. Remember that for later. They get to the airport, and Griffin finally agrees that they should team up to take down this Roland guy. They then jump into the airport, and surprise, surprise, the flight from Rome that Millie was on landed over an hour ago, so she's not there. They decide to split up. Griffin's gonna go back to his lair and strap up, while David goes to find Millie. David gets to the bar that Millie works at, and one of her coworkers tells David that she hasn't seen Millie, but she has seen Samuel Jackson with white hair. That's not good. David teleports to Millie's house, then up to her balcony to get in. And good news, she's still alive. Bad news, she's pretty pissed at David for leaving her at the airport, and Roland and his boys just arrived. And what happens next absolutely ruffled my feathers while I watched it. David, instead of just telling Millie the truth about him and not wasting precious time because Roland is right outside, he paces around like a little kid and is like, I'm not actually in banking. Well, I got that money from a bank, but I don't actually work at the bank. Actually, it's technically from two banks. Like, dude, just shut up, grab her, teleport her to a safe location, and then you can spill the beans. You know, like, once you're out of harm's way.
Oh, you're killing me.
He finally reveals he can teleport by grabbing the snow globe that he gave to her a long time ago. Obviously, she's pretty freaked out, so she tries to get away, but David just grabs her and teleports her to Griffin.
I understand when this stuff happens. Like, okay, I get that it can be overwhelming somehow, but why are you, like, okay, it would be different if he was, like, harassing you with her or something like that and tried to run away, but, like, they just, in every movie, whenever, like, the main protagonist, superpowered person, right, displays their power to reveal their power to somebody, they immediately run away or get scared. What are you afraid of? It's the exact same person, but he just teleported. Why are you afraid now?
Griffin's lair. You couldn't do that 5 minutes ago. Or when you finally met her at the bar, or when you had her in Rome. I mean, you teleported right in front of everybody at that bar earlier in the movie, so
boy.
why not now?
What?
Anyways, since this is her first jump, it kind of disorientates her and messes her up a little bit, but she's all good, it'll buff out. Back at the house, Roland and his team break in, and Roland uses some high-grade Axe body spray to find the jump scar that David left behind. They then bust out some machine and use it to open up the jump scar.
Tesseract
David
numbers?
finds Griffin outside and tells him what he did and how he brought Millie to the lair, and Griffin is like, dude, Roland has a machine that can reopen wormholes and keep them open. So you led them right to us. Also, doesn't that mean that the Paladins are playing with the powers of God, which is exactly what they kill jumpers for? I don't know. Roland and his team enter the lair through the wormhole, and David and Griffin wait around a corner to get the jump on them. And while they wait, David finds a picture of his mom on Griffin's.
Oh, chat. If you are like a 40 something, basically, if your hairline was hidden right, but you got enough hair where you can brush it down, are you still gonna try to get waves? If you got a blade going on, right, are you gonna try to get waves still? If your hair starts back here, goes up, goes back down, and joins, but you have like 3 inches of space right here, are you brushing the middle to get waves still? You're brushing the middle and back to get waves still? Because me personally, I really don't. But like to me, what sense does it make to be brushing? Like, you have a peninsula on your head. Why are you brushing? Why are you trying to get waves with that, bro? Trying to get waves with peninsula, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Wall of Paladins, meaning that she must be a paladin. And David, for some reason, thinks it's a good idea to walk towards the picture, and he gets caught in the zap trap.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They then shoot him again, and he gets flung and stuck up on the wall. Roland approaches him and starts to take out a ceremonial knife, but
Oh, bro. I
gets
know
cut
they
off
don't
by
know
Griffin,
that,
who comes in with a flamethrower. He lights the place up, but as he walks away, Roland shoots him with the zap gun thing.
bro. What is that technique, bro? I mean, I don't have anything that's long. You know what I'm saying? Does that really make sense to you to do? I mean, I guess. But what technique is that, bro? It makes, like, what? Come on, dude.
And lands a few licks to his lips. But Griffin isn't some bench-riding JV player like David. He runs out Roland while teleporting and blasts him with a shockwave from his jumps. Griffin single-handedly holds
That's
his movie
good
down.
tack, bro.
He
That's
then
nice.
teleports outside,
Good tack.
starts up his ATV, gives Roland the bird, and teleports away. He finds a bus, grabs that sucker, and teleports it back and throws it at Roland. Unfortunately, Roland is able to Fast and Furious slide under it safely.
Dude. This nigga is about 60 years old, bro.
The bus ends
He's
up
not gonna
crashing into
dodge
the
a
lair,
whole
but
bus.
that was still awesome. Roland starts emerging from the rubble like Jason in the 6th Friday the 13th film, and he's headed towards Millie, who's just standing there like a dumbass. But Griffin teleports in with his flamethrower and blasts Roland, which sends him flying back through the wormhole. Griffin then jumps
He got
to the
hit with a flamethrower directly, point blank, and just got pushed back. What is this, Cyclops with concussive blast? Why is he not burned alive?
hole, but Roland is able to cornerback tackle him to the ground. Griffin gets up and grabs a knife, but Roland wraps him up and launches him. Back at the lair, Millie cuts David free and kicks him while he's down to teach him a lesson. Super necessary. David then starts giving a sentimental little speech, but gets interrupted when Griffin jumps back with a device that can open up the wormholes, so Roland can't get back to the lair. But apparently he can still shoot his grapnel gun through the hole, because he does, and he's able to pull Millie in before it closes.
Crap,
How did he know it was her on the other side of the hole? Let alone how did he grab her? Let alone how did he pull her?
Griffin busts open his safe and starts getting a bomb ready. He says it's now or never.
This got
Roland
a bomb on deck like that?
is in there with his whole team, so Griffin wants to teleport the bomb in and teleport back out. Problem is, Millie's still there, so David's not for it. David tells Griffin that they can't do that because Millie's still there, and Griffin couldn't care less. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. But David grabs the safe and teleports it away. Griffin follows and finds that David threw it over the ledge at the Roman Colosseum. They both race to it and try to teleport it away, but with both of them trying to jump it, things get wonky and they teleport it to the top of the pyramid in Egypt. They then start battling for the remote. They jump to a highway and nearly get hit by oncoming traffic. They then jump to wherever this is. They then jump back to Japan. David then jumps away and teleports to the Empire State Building and throws the remote off the roof. Griffin teleports to the air and chases after it. He's able to grab it, but David teleports in and tackles him midair. They then teleport into some random public pool and continue to fight for the remote underwater. Then, David teleports away to wherever this is. And right as he's about to throw the remote into the water, Griffin teleports in a truck that slams into David, and David teleports away into the middle of a war zone. Griffin hops out the truck and looks around for David while tanks drive around them and bullets whiz past them. Griffin walks over to talk a little shit, but David grabs him and
There's some
teleports him
lightning
into an
going on.
electrical tower which traps him and stops him from teleporting. David then jumps back to Millie's apartment, jumps up to the balcony, and checks through the window to find Millie and see if the coast is clear. He then jumps into the room, but like 10 feet from Millie, so the Paladins are able to use their grapnel guns to catch David and prevent him from jumping away. But David starts tweaking and tries to jump anyways, which shakes up the entire building. Remember what Griffin said earlier about what happened to the guy who tried jumping a building? He died. So David chills out and Roland busts out his ceremonial dagger to finish the job. But David's not going to go out like that. He continues to try and jump, and he's actually able to teleport a portion of the building away and into a random river. This sends everyone
Really?
flying, and Millie's able to break free and grab onto David, and David jumps the building to
Why
where
would
he
you
made
start
his
kissing
first ever
underwater?
jump, the
Can I
library.
breathe
David's
first?
out of it, but
What?
after Millie
Yeah.
gives him the Will Smith special, he comes back. They sit
That
up,
nigga
but Roland
breathe.
is still alive, and he jumps at them, nearly grabbing them before David teleports Millie and him to the other side.
He would have passed out 15 attacks ago, bro. He got pushed through a portal with a flamethrower and survived. He gets teleported in a building underwater, survives. Is he Captain America?
Out of a bookshelf. He tells Millie to stay put, and he teleports back
In a library? Can y'all find a room? Like, that's not a library?
to Roland to finish business. David grabs Roland and teleports him to a cliffside cave. He turns to Roland and is basically like, I spared you, this is mercy, and just teleports away. And yeah, Roland is absolutely cooked. There's zero chance he gets out of this.
Oh, yeah,
Also-
that nigga dead, boy. Come on.
So, David just proved that he could teleport Roland to this cave, so why didn't he do that, like, way earlier? Whatever. The end of the film has David finding his mom and talking to her about all this. She reveals to David that she's a paladin and left David when he was 5 because he teleported, and so she left him.
He left the genetically superior being. Well, that sounds kind of crazy. But you know what I mean. You left the superpower being because...
him to protect him, I guess. David's like, what now? And she says, I'm giving you a head start, so skedaddle. And David walks off with his girlfriend Millie, and they lived happily ever after. This movie was apparently supposed to be the start of a franchise, and it did well at the box
Should've been.
office, but since the reviews from casual audiences weren't very good, a sequel probably wouldn't have done very well. And obviously, a few other factors went into why we didn't get a sequel. It wasn't just one thing, but at the end of the day, I liked it. Jumper wasn't perfect, but I thought it was fun, exciting, and a cool concept, and I wish they continued because this definitely could have made for a dope franchise, and we could learn more about these characters, especially Griffin, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, and also let me know what videos you guys want to see next, but that's all I've got for you guys today, so I'll see you in the
Rangers?
next one.
All right. The W racks. Well, I mean, we're not done. We got one more video, but it's already been 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? I need to figure out how to edit. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just stream all day. I mean, I can. You know what I'm saying? I could just like could save the VOD, take out the video from the VOD. That's kind of how the stuff works, I assume. But let's see. How long is this next video? Oh, this North Korean video by Xiaoman. Let's see what else we got. It's out over here. But yeah, like realistically, I should just end stream. Like, not should, but I can't really do more ranting right now because of privacy issues. You know what I'm saying? And I should just, I mean, honestly, 2 hour stream with some actual content in it. I mean, it's already content. 2 hours of content. Dubbing in it, like my mic works, my face cam works. You know what I'm saying? Plenty of time for rambling. Might not have been a great ramble, but it's a start, buddy. You know what I'm saying? We just 2 out of 3 reactions today, and I wouldn't say I was off time in terms of like getting home, streaming. Cause I went to the gym before once I got home, right? So I was already another hour, and then something. I'm at 8. Goddamn, my face was up. But yeah, like for what it was, for what I am right now. You know what I'm saying? This is some pretty good shit, bro. If you want lore in the bottles, if you want lore on the sock, if you want lore on the room, you're gonna have to interact, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get it for free. I mean, you're getting it for free right now because I'm not getting paid for the shit, buddy. But if you want the lore on certain things, these bottles, I'm not an alcoholic, bro. It's sparkling water. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink alcohol, man. I'm not even Muslim, bro. I don't drink. I just don't drink. If I want to drink, I'm just gonna drink some Snapple. Think what an idiot, man. Be for real. Anyways, stay true. Stay moo. It's true moo.